Hello again from the beautiful Ontario, Canada. For those who already know my channel, I do expect that by now you'd be fully vaccinated against my lack of skill, my shady hands, and my views of history of ships, of people and events. For those who are new, you are very welcome. Perhaps you will find out new things about the past, in the shape of history, of ships, of people and events. As you know by now from last episodes, we moved out of the old house in Quebec and moved in the new residence in Ontario. The place is quietly tucked in, surrounded by forests, wild in nature and chock full of possibilities. We've started a garden and I've started my own path through the marshy forest. As you can easily imagine, our things are now one on top of another. We are barely operational for the remote jobs and not so much for the hobby itself. Still, I intend to put together a first new episode in the new setup and perhaps continue through the build as fast as I can. I want to enjoy more, no pressure, no deadlines. So I've decided to record all the episodes, all the steps in advance, and only then to upload them on YouTube. So this episode is recorded around 1st of September, and I have no idea when you'll be able to watch it, be it early or late winter, who knows. Speaking of upload and YouTube, we don't have cable here. We are surrounded by farms and forests. We are countryside, deep in the country. And the only stable internet link is the Elon Musk's Starlink. You know, the guy with the satellites and the Tesla vehicle and the spaceships and everything. Yeah, we register with him, and the installation was surprisingly easy, and the performance is as good as with a cable, but without interruptions. And I'm very, very happy and pleasingly surprised by the performance. We can run 2 or 3 TV sets all on Wi-Fi, so they run YouTube or Netflix or whatever simultaneously, and in parallel 2 or 3 laptops and the Teams meetings for the remote jobs and everything works perfectly. Yeah, I'm very happy with Elon Musk. Very happy. Indeed. The Russian 1st Pacific Squadron had in 1904 a succession of commanders. First was Oscar Stark. He started in 1902 till February 1904, followed by Stepan Makarov, 8th of March 1904, 13th of April 1904. After Makarov's death, he was followed by Wilhelm Wittgenstein, him of sad memory of being killed on board the Tsesarevich in the Battle of the Yellow Sea on the 10th of August 1904. In turn, the Prince Pavel Tomsky took command of the squadron and brought it back to Port Arthur in the same day, that is, without the battleship Tsesarevich, which sailed to the German colony of Tsingtao. And so we get to the last commander, the Vice Admiral Robert Viran, who sadly oversaw the final destruction of the squadron and sinking of all the battleships and cruisers by the Japanese artillery installed on the hills around the city. From this long line of commanders, it was Vice Admiral Makarov who stood a good chance of beating the Japanese at their own game. We'll come back to Stepan Makarov in a further episode. Suffice to say for now that in the morning of April 13, not even 5 weeks from taking command, Makarov went out from Port Arthur in his flagship, the battleship Petropavlovsk. The ship hit a mine and sank almost instantly with heavy loss of life. The admiral and his staff were killed, and with them the painter Vereshchagin, who was a guest on the ship. Vereshchagin was the culmination of the Russian art realism and Orientalism. Vereshchagin was a traveler. He visited extensively the newest parts of the Russian Empire, the Turkestan, the siege of Samarkand, Persia, Siberia, parts of China and Mongolia, India, Himalaya and Tibet. Starting in 1901, he also visited the United States, Cuba, Philippines, and Japan. While Ivan Shishkin addressed the Russian soul by a deep meditative contemplation of nature, be it dark endless forest or the golden fields full of light, Vereshchagin approached the subject from a more human-related perspective and a more militant one. Vereshchagin painted the war from a dark perspective. He was the voice of those who suffered on the battlefield, of the wounded, of the dead, of those left behind. A trio of his paintings show in succession a wounded soldier asking to write a letter to his mother, the same wounded soldier dictating the letter to a nurse, and then the soldier dying, the letter left unfinished. So you get the idea. Such was the dark realism of his paintings that in two of the most warlike militaristic nations of Europe he got cancelled. Now if you wonder who got this genially and productive idea of banning Vereshchagin, the correct answer is Germany and Russia, of course. Who else? Leave it to the Germans to shoot themselves in the foot, and then you'll always have Russia on a close second place. Indeed, some of his paintings in Germany and entire series in Russia got censored, blocked, banned, rejected, in a word, cancelled. You see, not much has changed from the 1870s to today, but I digress. Watching Vereshchagin paintings, it's like a long continuous chain of human wars and battles with their assorted loss of souls, sadness, suffering, destruction and despair. And sometimes, barely there, a sliver of hope, a fleeting, dreamy, ephemeral moment of peace. A sad peace, a crucifixion of peace, a cart for wounded type of peace. Vereshchagin, one of the greatest painters of the 19th century. Vereshchagin, the artist who painted the true face of war. Vereshchagin, who hailed from such an aggressive and warlike nation, the Imperial Russia. Well now, how about the model? Yes, how about the model? I think in August we left it at step 17, and step 17 is about the boat supports. Some of the boat supports are here in the central part of the ship, the midship, and they come from this photo edge, from C1s. You cannot see it now, but the C1s, there are 20 of them anyway. But before this we have to worry about the boats. I keep saying from a lot of time that I have to start worrying about the boats. But in the end the boats were painted. The boats were painted months ago when I've painted some other large stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna mask them to give them a color band of red or white at the upper parts of the hull, but hey, they are painted at least. Another issue with the boats is this one with the boat decks. Let me show you. Oh, I cannot show you properly. My zoom is not okay. The boats have wooden decks, wooden, I don't know how you call them, planking or whatever. And this planking was on the same sprue as the wooden deck of the big ship itself, and they will have to be applied on the boats. So yeah, many operations, a lot of work in this period for the boats. Yes. So I found the C1s. There are 20 of them. We have to install 8 at this time. I'm gonna zoom. There are these ones, the small ones here. I think the last time I did this, I've painted them in place, and perhaps I should do the same now. Just paint them in place and then mounting them on the model. We only need 8, so I'm gonna paint 8 each face. As they used to say back in the day, we want 8 and we want weight. This was I think in 1909 or something, when the British government offered to build 4 battleships, and the Navy asked for 6, and they negotiated, and they ended up building 8 of them. Very interesting. You should read the whole story. I think it's in Winston Churchill book, The World Crisis. Very interesting book, I can assure you. Well, I ended up painting 10 of them, but I'm okay. We want 8 and we won't wait. Those were the times when the Royal Navy actually meant something. Very different times, eh? I think we're quite done with this painting. We should be fine. I'm gonna let it dry. While agitating or mixing again the paint, I kept thinking about the wonderful mixing machine Ron Calverley made for these paints, and then I was thinking again about how he builds his models. Remember, he models 1 in 200, and for some reason Trumpeter in 1 in 200 models treats the models section by section. Indeed, you assemble the hull in the beginning and the rudder and whatnot, but then the turret is one section, and the first island is one section, and the first mast is one section, and there are so many pieces for the first funnel, and so on, going to the back of the ship. And he assembles one section, and he puts it aside, and when all the sections are put together, he starts mounting them on the ship many months later, and then there is still work with the handrails and the rigging and touch-ups and a lot of work. Very interesting. I still have to paint these small boat supports, yes. I looked hard at the instructions to try to understand where I'm supposed to install these boat supports, and I found out that 4 of them have to be installed on this line. 1, 2, 3, 4, and another 4 on this line here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, yeah, sure. Wish me good luck with that. They are very small, and while talking about this one and watching at the screen, looking at the screen, I can see there is a lot of need for some touch-up in this area. Mind you, I cannot see it with the naked eye. I look at the model and everything looks perfect, and you put it on the screen and it's not perfect anymore. I mean, come on. Should I bother to touch up that part? What if I damage something? You know what? Maybe I'll do the exercise and touch up that part. What can go worse than it is now? I tell you again, with the naked eye you cannot see these imperfections here in the color. You cannot. So yeah, I think I will touch it up a bit, at least. I have a bad position, a bad angle to do this touch-up. I will have to rearrange a bit, but to keep it, for you to see it, to see how I get into trouble now. I have the color, it's the same, oh my goodness, XF60 that I used before. I've agitated. I have this paintbrush, which I suspect is too thick for what I have to do here, but it seems to me is my favorite paintbrush these days. So I don't know. On my side it looks good, because I don't look at the screen now. God knows what happens on the screen. I refuse to even look at the screen. I think many areas in this model will need some touch-up. From what I remember from our last episodes earlier in the summer, I should stop being lazy and turn the ship around and do it properly, but I know myself. I will damage something. Okay, let me put my glasses and try to look at the screen now. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a bit better than before. You know what? I'm gonna turn the ship. Gonna turn and try to apply it properly on the other side. Like this. No, you don't see it. Now you do. I think the first part went better than the second part. Well, you know what? I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna leave it like this because the more you try to improve something after the first pass, the more you have chances to ruin everything. At least this is my situation. So I have to close the paint. And now we have to be brave and try to install those damn boat supports somehow. Gonna zoom out. Let's zoom back in. Yeah. Good luck placing them. Again, I'm in the wrong position here. I have to turn again. And then people are wondering why I have these long episodes of 30 or 40 minutes. Because I'm clumsy, this is why. Yes. There are people who film the entire model in 20 minutes. I'm pretty sure they're much smarter than I am. But what do we want? Filming and recording this is part of the fun that I'm having. Let's find a better position. These bolts are in my way. This one I need it. This one I don't need it yet. Okay, so where is the ship? What I'm doing here? Maybe something like this. Okay, so I said I have to place 4 of them on this line and 4 of them align with the first ones on the second line. That alignment would be quite a problem. But I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I've placed the first support and I didn't record it, and I was very happy about it. It took me a while to place it in the right position. Now my glue for these supports, which is this Gorilla glue, super glue, I think it got old because I cannot pick it up from the tube properly, or maybe the super glue is okay and it's me who got old and clumsy. Anyway, let's try to place the second one. The second one should be around this area. I don't like these traces after you apply the super glue. I don't like them at all. Well, let's stop here. Let's see. How can I place the second one? I believe it's in the good position, but it's not yet straight. I have to be very patient here. And I think it's not anymore in a good position. Now it is. Now it's better. And better. Still not straight. This has a tendency of sliding on the super glue. The damn super glue will super glue your fingers in an instant, but when you need it for small pieces like this, well, it doesn't want to get hard. We'll see. Should be quite okay now. Of course I will do the rest of them off camera, because otherwise we'll stay here the whole night. Both supports are now in place, at least in this part of the ship, and I cannot say I'm enthusiastic about them. They look quite okay. Some of them are not that vertical as I wanted them to be, and I'm not sure they are properly aligned, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna give me headaches when I'm gonna try to place the boats on top of them because of the misalignments and whatnot. And I think somewhere here towards the stern of the ship there are gonna be other boats, other set of boats, and I wonder if I could fix those boats on this platform, this walking platform, without the supports. I wonder. These supports will not be visible. I don't know. They look to me like they're gonna create more headache for me instead of solving any problem. So perhaps for the next set of boats I will try to glue them on top of this bridge. We'll see how it goes. For now I have to go back to the painting of the boats, as I said before. And this kinda concludes the step 17, and we'll see from there. Yeah.